At 65, stop waiting for your children. This is the only support that never abandons you. My dear child, come closer. Take a deep breath and let the weight of the world rest on the floor for just a moment. I see you sitting there, perhaps in a house that feels much larger and quieter than it used to. I know the rhythm of your days, the way the morning light hits the chair where you drink your coffee, and the way the silence of the afternoon can sometimes feel like a heavy blanket. You are 65 now, or perhaps a few years beyond, and you have spent decades pouring your life into others, like a vessel that never thought it would run dry. You have raised children, built a career, navigated the storms of loss, and tried your best to be the anchor for everyone else. But tonight, I want to talk about you. Not the you the world sees, the grandparent, the retiree, the neighbor, but the you I have known since before you drew your first breath. I see the shadow that flickers in your eyes when the phone doesn't ring. I feel the sting in your heart when you realize your children are busy with their own lives, their own frantic pace, and their own children. You find yourself waiting for a text, a visit, or a sign that the legacy you built still matters to them. Sometimes you feel like a book that has been read and placed back on a high shelf, valued, yes, but no longer opened. And in that silence, a whisper begins to grow. It's the whisper of guilt. You wonder, did I do enough? Did I love them the right way? Is this loneliness my fault? I am here to tell you, stop. Let me take that burden from your shoulders. You have carried the weight of what if for far too long. I saw every sacrifice you made that no one else noticed. I saw the nights you stayed awake worrying, the prayers you whispered over sleeping foreheads, and the times you went without so they could have plenty. You did not fail. You were human, and you were a reflection of my love, even in your imperfections. There is a hollow ache that comes with this season of life, a feeling that you are waiting for permission to be happy again, waiting for your children or your circumstances to tell you that it's okay to rest. But I am your true support. I am the only one who never leaves, never grows too busy, and never forgets the sound of your voice. In Psalm 39, I reminded you of a truth I want you to hold close today. Show me, Lord, my life's end and the number of my days. Let me know how fleeting my life is. My hope is in you. This isn't a reminder of death, my love. It is a reminder of priority. Your hope does not belong in the hands of your children or the strength of your own body. It belongs in me, and I am standing right here. You don't have to perform for me. You don't have to be strong anymore. It is okay to be tired. It is okay to admit that the golden years feel a bit more like lead some days. I am not here to judge the wrinkles on your face or the regrets in your mind. I am here to kiss them with my grace. You are entering a sacred space where the noise of the world fades so you can finally hear my heartbeat. We are going to walk through this together, not as a chore, but as a homecoming. Do you remember how quickly it all happened? It feels like just yesterday you were holding small hands, rushing to school events, managing a household, and trying to keep your head above water. The years slipped through your fingers like water, didn't they? You were so busy surviving, so focused on providing and protecting, that you hardly had a moment to breathe. You thought you were simply building a life, a safe harbor for your family. But in the midst of all that rushing, without even realizing it, you began to build walls of worry around your own heart. You spent decades absorbing the stress of the world. You worried about bills, the safety of your children, and the endless demands of daily life. The world told you that if you just sacrificed enough, you would eventually reach a golden season of rest. You believed that at 65, you would be surrounded by the beautiful, constant harvest of your labor. You imagined a bustling house full of grandchildren, unhurried visits, and children who would look at you with endless gratitude and presence. But the reality of this season often feels very different. And that is where the secret pain begins. The house is quiet now. The children you poured your soul into are consumed by the same exhausting race you ran decades ago. They are building their own lives, and sometimes they forget to look back. You find yourself sitting in a silent room, waiting for a text message or a phone call that always feels too brief. This is the anatomy of the heavy weight you carry. It is the crushing realization that you have tied your ultimate happiness to people who are simply too distracted to notice you are waiting for them. My precious child, I need you to understand exactly where you lost yourself. You lost yourself the moment you started believing your peace was dependent on how much you were needed by others. You spent so much time being the problem solver and the caregiver that you forgot how to simply be my child. The anxiety of the world stole your peace, and now you carry the heavy, unspoken fears of growing older, the fear of losing your independence, the quiet dread of navigating assisted living facilities, and the deep anxiety over what kind of legacy you will leave behind. I want to remind you of a beautiful truth found in Proverbs 31. It speaks of a life rooted in divine wisdom, noting that she is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. Can you laugh at the days to come, my friend? Or do you look toward tomorrow with a quiet, heavy dread? Your strength and dignity do not come from how often your family visits you. They certainly do not come from the size of the financial inheritance you plan to leave behind. True inheritance is the spiritual legacy of a life lived in my joy. Your true strength comes from the profound realization that I am holding you right now. Here is the loving, realistic solution for your aching heart. Stop waiting for your children to give you the validation and comfort that only I can provide. Release them. Take them off the throne of your heart and place them entirely in my capable hands. They were never meant to be your ultimate source of peace. They are fragile and limited, just as you are. When you stop waiting for them to fill the void, you make room for me to step in. I am the support that never abandons you. I do not have a busy schedule. I do not get distracted by the noise of the world. I am here, offering you a peace that the world cannot give and your family cannot manufacture. Let us talk about tomorrow morning. When the sun first breaks through your window and the house is completely still, what is the first thing that happens in your mind? For so many years, your mornings were a battlefield of beautiful chaos. You woke up with an immediate, urgent mission. There were breakfasts to prepare, lunches to pack, children to dress, and the relentless ticking of the clock pushing you out the door. You were needed. Every single minute of your morning was claimed by someone else. Now the morning stretches out before you, wide, quiet, and seemingly empty. It feels like a vast canvas that you no longer know how to paint. I know that for many of you, the very first thing you do is reach for your phone on the nightstand. You look at the screen, hoping to see a text message from your son, a picture of your grandchildren from your daughter, or just some small digital proof that you are still on their minds. And when the screen is blank, that familiar, heavy sting of loneliness settles into your chest before your feet even touch the floor. My precious child, I want to gently take that phone out of your hand and hold it for a moment. I want to invite you into a completely new way of living your mornings. The silence in your home is not an enemy you need to defeat. It is not a punishment for growing older, and it is certainly not a sign that you have been forgotten. This quiet space is a holy clearing, meticulously prepared by my own hands, specifically so that we can finally talk without interruption. For decades, you could barely hear my whispers over the noise of your incredibly busy life. I waited patiently while you cared for everyone else. Now, it is your time to be cared for. It is your time to be held. The world will try to tell you that at 65, your purpose has already been fulfilled. Society often measures a person's worth by their economic productivity or by how actively they are managing a busy household. Because you are no longer running that exhausting race, the enemy tries to plant seeds of doubt in your mind, whispering that you are obsolete, that your best days are behind you, and that you are merely biding your time. I tell you that this is a lie. Your highest, most magnificent purpose was never just to be a worker, or even just to be a parent. Your ultimate purpose, from the very moment I breathed life into your lungs, has been to walk in deep, unbroken communion with me. This season of your life is not a waiting room for the end. It is the grand, beautiful sanctuary of our relationship. I want you to look around your home with new eyes tomorrow. When you walk into the kitchen to brew your coffee, do not look at the empty chairs as symbols of absence. Instead, Pull out a chair for me. Sit down at that table and tell me what is on your heart. Talk to me about the aches in your joints, the memories that made you smile yesterday, and the specific fears you have about next week. I care about every single detail. Remember the ancient promise I made to you. Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He. I am He who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. When you step outside to water your plants or check the mail, feel the warmth of the sun on your skin and know that it is my gentle touch, reminding you that you are vibrantly, wonderfully alive. You are deeply cherished. Your name is literally carved into the palms of my hands. It is impossible for me to forget you, even for a fraction of a second. The children you raised are out in the world, fighting the same exhausting battles you once fought, but you have been graciously granted a reprieve. Accept this profound gift. Let go of the need to manage their lives or wait for their applause. You have my applause. You have my undivided attention. Embrace this beautiful, unhurried chapter, knowing that every breath you take is sustained by a love that will never fade, never fail, and never leave you sitting alone in the quiet.